Kenna Palmer, and this is my 4 to 5 minute video of my first module. I chose the module Kotlin. I did not have a chance to complete any of the stretch challenges. I got a little carried away just making programs for each of the requirements. There was a lot of interesting things to learn about Kotlin, but all in all, it was actually a relatively easy language to learn, with some unique rules. One of the reasons I chose Kotlin is it helps you with null variables, and it's a great language used for mobile apps. And my team has been considering doing a web scraping website, and possibly that could be switched from just a desktop application to a mobile application. Either way, it was a great language to add to my repertoire of languages, as they might say. So I have written a lot of little programs, and they're kind of messy. They're not very organized, but I will be showing you how to make variables, expressions, conditionals, loops, functions, and classes in Kotlin. Alright, let's start with the classic hello world, which I just realized is already running because this automatically runs no matter what. Kind of a fun environment. I've never used IntelliJ IDEA before. I'm usually using Visual Studios. But anyway, we have our classic hello world. They write functions by putting fun, the function name, arguments would go in here, and print is written out as println, hello world. You do not really need to worry about semicolons. You can add them if you want, or you can just leave it be, like I did. So that is the first hello world. Yay! Now let's actually switch to variables before we get much farther in. Alright, it looks like I might have to first explain it before I hit run. So with variables in Kotlin, you have the classic types like int, long, double, string. You also have byte, which is like a single character in a way. You can't really just smash them together or cast. There are specific ways you want to add them together to do it. And they're a little bit complex, so I'm going to just explain the best I can. With values, you only can assign the variable once. With var, you can assign it and then change it again later if you need it. As shown here, I use val to assign an int of 6 to I. And then if I printed it, which it will print somewhere, there we go. If I print it, you see 6. Perfect. Now let's try using var and then changing it. If I used val, if you want, you can see me try to store something to val. It's hilarious. He will freak out on me if I try to print it. I would just type I is equal to 7. Try running it. Val cannot be reassigned. So definitely need var if you want to change stuff. With var, I make a variable called change. I assign it the int of 7, and I try printing it. It will print a 7. Yay! Now I am going to change it by putting change plus 1 and storing it back in change. You could probably, like in most other languages, do change plus plus. In fact, let's try that right now. And it will increment that way too. As you can see here, it did increment. It incremented to 9. But I think I'm going to change it back mostly because that is a bit confusing for all the notes I have written here. Right. As you can see, it also has a habit of once the output is too long, it will do a dot 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 afterwards. You should see that in some other files I have. Kind of interesting. I think it's just the environment here though. Now, this is the byte. This is the complicated bit that I still don't quite fully understand, but I'm just treating it as another type of variable. So I've assigned a byte of 1 to B2. And it's checked, it's fine, it printed out 1. If I want to change the type, I'm still using val. I can do it by doing toInt, and it will cast it. I've also tried doing this to double, but it won't work because you need that decimal point. So toInt was the quickest way to demonstrate. I am doing b.2, writing toInt, casts the byte to an int value and stores it in I4 because once again, val only can be assigned once. If I had a var, I wouldn't have needed to write out a new variable and store it. I could have just written b2.toInt is equal to b2. In this case, I decided to show you what you would have to do if you weren't writing out var, which I would suggest using var. It's nice. Another fun thing with Kotlin is it allows you to place underscores in the numbers where it makes sense to you, just so it's easier to read. For example, if you have 1 million, sometimes, if you're like me, you might add an extra 0 or not add enough zeros. It happens. So it allows you to store numbers with these underscores in it, and when you go to print them out, for example, I printed out 1 million, it will print out normally without the underscores for you. Kind of interesting, and I like it. Now, here's one of my favorite things I think about Kotlin, null variables. Sometimes it's so hard to figure out if you have a null variable in the other languages. But here you have this question mark operator that you can use to indicate if the variable is null. If you want to assign a null variable, for example, I assigned var marbles the null type. When I printed out, I got null. You could say I've lost my marbles. Sorry, couldn't resist. Anyway, you can also test for the null with the question mark operator. For example, if I'm de-incrementing this amount of fish food treats. By the way, I was following a boot camp and they did a lot of stuff with fish, so you'll probably see a lot of code talking about fish. That's kind of random, yes. But as you can see, I have 9 treats. I'm going to de-increment it, but I also want to make sure it's not null because I can't de-increment a null value. I can check by putting a question mark after the variable name, then the de-increment operator, and then, of course, storing it in answer. It won't let me store it back in fish food treats because fish food treats is technically an int variable. It's already been assigned that and you can't reassign it, or at least I don't know the way to properly reassign it, so I had to use a different variable. But anyway, I printed out answer. Because it checked and it wasn't null, it de-incremented it and we got 8. So now there's only 8 treats. Kind of cool. And then just some stuff for fun. Lists. There is 2 different types of lists. One you can change and one you can't change, which kind of like the variables. List of can't be changed, but mutable list of can be changed. Kind of fun. Also another fun fact, before I added print in and more stuff underneath this, it actually told me that if it was true or false, meaning if it succeeded or not. But once you wrote more, it decided you didn't need that anymore. Kind of interesting. You also can write out arrays. It's kind of nice if you write out array because then you can use a loop to print this list, and it looks much better. Anyway, shark, salmon, minnow, no brackets. Though I wasn't quite sure where that came from. That wasn't there before. Oh well. Here's how you can print a new line, because when writing loops, it kind of starts exactly where you left off. So sometimes, just in case, you need to print a new line before putting out a loop. As you can see here, you can loop through both elements and indexes at the same time, which is really cool. For example, if I took my earlier array from above, school 2, and oh my goodness, sorry, that was a text tone. If I loop through both index and element at the same time, I can print out this really nice list. Item 0 is shark, item 1 is salmon, item 2 is minnow, and so on and so forth if you have a longer list. That is also really nice because it is automatically ticking it down. You don't have to do, like in C++ or C#, making I, assigning I a number, setting it to loop, and all of that. It kind of automatically does that. Some other fun ways you can write out for loops here with ranges. It's great. For example, you can set I or element to loop through this range of 1 through 5. You can have it print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. You can have it print backwards by using this down to function, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can have it print only 2 steps forward, like 3, 4, or 3, well, technically 2 steps forward means 3 plus 2, 5. So it would print out probably 3 and then print out 5, because that would be 2 steps forward. You can have it go down through the alphabet, D, E, F, G, so on and so forth. Kind of nice, very, very responsive. Of course, there's while loops, and they call it repeat loops. Kind of cool. It's actually an interesting concept. You can just literally put the number of times you want it to repeat in here. Like if I wanted to repeat 3 times, a dragon is coming, a dragon is coming, a dragon is coming, it would do so. Really cool. And of course the while loop's fun, just a fun little program that talks about the bubbles in the water. But anyway, that was, I believe, variables, some conditionals and expressions, but mostly variables and loops. Now, the next program I have, let's go to quickly do some conditionals and expressions, and then I will go through some functions. So, just some simple if-else statement. For example, the value number of fish is 50, number of plants is 23. If the number of fish is greater than the number of plants, we're going to say a good ratio. But if there is more plants than fish, that's going to be an unhealthy ratio. Kind of fun. Look, good ratio. Nice, simple if-else. It's very similar to other programs, not too hard to write. You can also, once again, test your range. For example, I have 88 fish. If the amount of fish I have is between 1 and 100, print that amount. And it prints out 88 fish. Kind of nice. Of course, you can do your multiple options with conditionals, and well, multiple options in general. I kept it pretty simple still. For example, if there's 0 fish, empty tank. If there is less fish than 40, just say I have fish. If there's more fish than 40, which, yes, I have 88. No, wait. It's using this fish number, 50 fish. That's a lot of fish. So, I got that's a lot of fish. Alright, back to here. Once again, I kind of started out with functions because, hey, printing a hello world, the easiest way besides writing out printing hello world was to write in this function. Fun. Now, I think I've commented out some things because I wanted to reveal it one at a time, but really that just made it kind of hard to see what I was doing. Maybe if I just hit Command Z, it would undo what I've done. There we go. This Alright. Well. Alright, where was I? Okay. Let's run this. This was something I was messing with. I was trying out nearly everything in Kotlin has a value. Loops are the only exception to that, so I was trying out assigning a value to things in general, and one of them was assigning a value to this print expression. This is an expression, print is unit, and it will print out this is an expression, and it also prints out Kotlin.unit, showing it has a value. Kind of odd, but literally everything will have value here, besides loops, which it's kind of pointless because they're constantly changing. There was my simple function. There's some more expressions here if you want to try out booleans. Temperature is equal to 10 if it's considered hot. If the temperature is greater than 50, else print out false, which it prints out false because it's very cold. Also, there is lambdas in Kotlin. For example, they had me write out this interesting lambda that filters dirty water. So, for example, if you have the dirty level of 20 and you inserted it into this lambda and you then print it out, it will cut, this lambda purposely cuts it in half. So the dirty level gets filtered and it's a bit cleaner, it's 10 now. We also made a fun function that takes this lambda and returns, it still filters water basically, it just filters it faster. Sort of, not really. I'm not sure why it was good to insert a lambda into a function. Let's just move past that. And I think I'm running out of time. I'm kind of rambling since this is my first module and I'm not sure how to present it. Let's just quickly go over classes. Classes in Kotlin. They are extremely similar. Like, once again, a lot of this stuff very, very familiar, very easy to do. Cool thing about Kotlin classes is they will automatically create getters and setters for properties you defined. And as you can see here, I have the class aquarium. I have my constructor, which is in the argument right here. It's just setting length, width, and height for me. I also have some init functions. It's going to print aquarium initializing every time I use the class, pretty much. And it will fill the tank. I also have this fun function called print size to just print out widths because we will be changing them around with my build aquarium function. Kind of fun fact, I think I did something funny to my environment. For some reason it's not recognizing main for me. And so if I actually want my stuff to run, it's saying everything I'd write outside is main. I'll get that fixed, but usually you would write function main, and then there would be a little green arrow, you hit play here, and it would run through your program. But for right now, I wrote just build aquarium out here because that's how it's working. As you can see, it says aquarium initializing, and it has the ... meaning it's hiding most of the code that's happened right now. But as you can see, my build aquarium, when it initializes it in the beginning, then it prints out the size for aquarium 1, it's going to print out the default height and length. So it initializes, it fills the tank, because the current default width, length, and height is 20, 140. We can check that up here. 20, 140. We're doing good. Then aquarium 2, we're going to start filling that. Initializing the process. It takes 100 liters of water because we are also giving it a new width of 25. And then we just mess with it a bit more. Second, a third aquarium, a fourth aquarium. Basically, the last aquarium, everything's custom. It's just kind of fun. And so that was pretty quick. If I wanted to, I could probably also add my lambdas that filter water and clean it, maybe add some fish later. But I kind of ran out of time because I kept getting distracted with learning the fun little tricks. There is so much more to still learn about Kotlin. But anyway, I thought I would just give you a quick rundown of all the programs. I mean, they're a bit scattered, but they hit every one of their requirements. Hopefully, I will have some time later, even though I will be moving on to other modules to demonstrate one of these stretch challenges. I also am still learning how to use Dart, but I currently have nothing to show. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching.